Donald Trump holds a massive beachfront campaign rally for the ruckus New Jersey crowd earlier today. Hope you guys got a chance to catch that one. Donald Trump says, "We are going to win." We're going to hear from Donald Trump a little bit later while he's at the beachfront New Jersey rally later in today's video. But first, U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson may have just solved our problem with illegal voting. In fact, while we may be fed with all sorts of information that says that non-citizen voting is rare, it's a rare event, right? It's also confirmed that it is in fact happening. In fact, we know that there are states and there are cities that actually want illegal immigrants, migrants, to be given the right to vote. Can you believe this, guys? Let me know if you guys are okay with that. Now, the reason behind it is that they feel as if these people have a right to choose who leads them. Can you believe this? Someone breaks into your house and then they want to vote on where you put your furniture. This is absolutely unbelievable. However, many critics are arguing that this logic is entirely flawed, especially when you take into consideration that this decision would ultimately impact American citizens so much more. Now, guys, before we even begin to get into this thing, all I ask is that you take 1 second, hit the like button for the video. It's totally free. It just tells YouTube, hey, get this message out to more people. And as always, I just want to thank you so much for supporting the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. And I hope you guys have some big plans for Mother's Day tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day for all the mothers in here. Just give everyone a happy Mother's Day in the comments and spread some love here. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. So we've seen sanctuary cities go through their budgets like there's no tomorrow. Just look at New York City and their sanctuary city budgets, just draining through millions of dollars over there, right? Asking the federal government to come to the aid and provide them with even more federal taxpayer dollars when they run out, right? It's just absurd. And we could just look at New York. Like, you got local officials like Governor Kathy Hochul. She has made some changes so that some of these illegal aliens are actually provided money from the state's welfare program. Then you got Mayor Eric Adams on his end. Essentially, he's tried and has been basically rejected in his efforts to give illegal immigrants the right to vote in local elections. But he did try. He did try. But New Yorkers pushed back on giving illegals the right to vote in their local elections. Now, this in and of itself has caused a massive uproar within the Republican Party, as they feel as if voting, it's an American privilege, which is exactly why House Speaker Mike Johnson literally just spoke about that bill and how he wants it passed. Take a listen.
The first or second question that I am asked in every public forum is about election security. Americans are deeply concerned about this, and it doesn't matter where you live and whether you're in a blue state or a red state, everyone's concerned. And due to the wide open border that the Biden administration has refused to close, in fact, that they engineered to open, we now have so many non-citizens in the country that if only 1 out of 100 of those voted, they would cast hundreds of thousands of votes. And since our elections are so razor thin in these days that we're in, and just a few precincts in a few states decide the makeup of Congress and who is elected to the White House, this is a dangerously high number, and it is a great concern to millions and millions of Americans.
Yeah.
It could obviously change the outcome of our elections, and this is not an empty threat or concern. I'll let my colleague Chip Roy here in a moment get into the specifics of the SAVE Act, but I want to address why we need this legislation. Some have noted that it's already a crime for non-citizens to vote in a federal election, and that is true. But here are 4 things that are also true. Number 1, it's true that no current mechanism to ensure only those registering or voting are actually citizens. There's no mechanism that exists to make sure that's correct. If a nefarious actor wants to intervene in our elections, all they have to do is check a box on a form and sign their name. That's it. That's all that's required. And there's a very small chance that illegal would get caught, because here's the other thing. Our states do not have the election infrastructure in place to confirm what they've said.
Do you guys think that we should have voter IDs implemented? Please let me know for the 2024 elections. Let me know, just a quick yes or no. Do you think we should have voter IDs implemented across the United States for our 2024 presidential elections?
2, it's true that Joe Biden has welcomed millions and millions of illegal aliens We think I believe the number is close to probably, at this point, 16 million illegals who have come into this country since Joe Biden walked into the Oval Office.
Thank you, guys.
And that includes sophisticated criminal syndicates and agents of adversarial governments here in our borders and even on humanitarian parole. And that means the millions that have been paroled can simply go to their local welfare office or the DMV and register to vote there. And please understand this. States are currently prohibited from asking somebody to prove that they're a citizen when they use the federal voter registration form.
This is unbelievable. That's like saying, okay, states are okay with not allowing, not carding people to validate that they're registered to vote, that they're legally citizens of the United States and can vote legally, right? But yet we have to show an ID when we're buying, like, alcohol, a beer, a bottle of wine. I mean, come on. Are you saying like one bottle of wine or, a little like tester thing of liquor or alcohol is more important than a presidential election? Are you kidding me, guys? Like, what's the thought process here?
Third truth. It is also true that a growing number of localities are blurring the lines for non-citizens by allowing them to vote in municipal local elections in cities and towns in California, in Maryland, Vermont, and even right here in D.C.
So Mike Johnson's bringing up a very, very important point. If you give them an inch, they take a mile, right? So first of all, a lot of these folks are already here illegally, right? And some of these cities, some of these states, they're saying it's okay that you're here illegally and it's okay to vote in our local elections. So what do you think is going to happen next? What do you think is going to happen next if you don't do something right now?
You might not know this, but non-citizens are voting. Number 4, it's true that Democrats have expressed a desire to turn non-citizens into voters. That's what this open border has been all about. Mm-hmm. Former Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler admitted that to me, expressly stated it to me in a committee hearing in a video that's gone viral just last year, a year and a half ago. Stacey Abrams said it in 2018 on the campaign trail. In their rare moments of candor, they will tell you the truth that this is something they are for. Mm-hmm. 2 months ago, every Senate Democrat voted to count illegal aliens in the census to help them shore up more seats in Congress and more votes in the Electoral College. And this week, House Democrats will also have an opportunity to go on record on the same issue.
Unbelievable, guys. This is unbelievable, guys. Like, was this their plan all along? Was this the plan all along, guys? Like, they're trying to give America away. What is this not treason? Like, they are trying to give America away. This is okay. So the SAVE Act, let's talk a little bit about the SAVE Act. So the SAVE Act stands for Safeguard American Voter Eligibility, right? And so I know it's quite a mouthful, but this is how these, lawmakers like to do. They like to have these long titles for all their different acts, these different bills and laws, right? Anyway, Mike Johnson, he wants this passed because he feels as if there's a possibility that illegal aliens will do their absolute very best to vote in our 2024 presidential elections. Now, just take a wild guess who you think they would vote for. Who's keeping the borders wide open for them? And who would they want to vote for, if they could get a vote in, right? They would likely vote for the guy who's keeping the door open, the guy who's leaving the border wide open intentionally, right? Okay, so this would be an amendment to the 1993 Voter Registration Act that mandates people to fill out a form swearing that they're U.S. citizens. Although, just like what Mike Johnson just said, there's no documentation being asked for in that scenario. So I swear I'm an American citizen, right? Even though you're not. So there's no proof. So that doesn't really work. So with this new bill that Mike Johnson wants to put forth, hopeful voters would have to prove their citizenship before they can vote. They can do this by providing either their passport or their birth certificate. Now, if the bill does pass, then states would have 10 days to implement the new voting registration requirements. Now, speaking of voting, former President Donald Trump hosted a rather large political rally today in Wildwood, New Jersey, where he expressed some very strong confidence in winning the state of New Jersey in the upcoming November election. Matter of fact, he declared to the audience, which was about somewhere around 80,000, maybe 100,000 people, at least, according to one of these spokespeople out there, we're going to win New Jersey, is what he said. Now, this event was described by U.S. Representative Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey as the largest political rally ever held in the state of New Jersey, which is anybody surprised that Donald Trump set another record? Now, during his speech here, Donald Trump focused heavily on criticizing his opponent, Joe Biden, labeling him a moron. Is Joe Biden a moron? He also labeled him as the worst president that we've ever had. Is he the worst president that we've ever had? Y'all let me know. Donald Trump also accused Biden of poor handling of various policy areas, including the economy and broader management. He blamed Joe Biden for high inflation rates affecting everyday items like food and fuel, promising to reverse these policies if reelected. You guys remember how Donald Trump's son, Barron Trump, called out Biden for lying on his dad's name, saying that when he came into office, inflation was at 9.1%. Barron jumped in and was like, no, inflation under my dad, Donald Trump, was 1.4%. About 17 months after Biden took office, it ballooned up to 9.1%. Get your facts straight, Biden. Let's hear from Trump.
There's so many people here. Man, over 100,000 people. Even on the haters, they said this may be the biggest rally they've ever seen. We are going to officially play in the state of New Jersey. We're going to win the state of New Jersey. On day one, we will throw out Bidenomics and we will reinstate MAGAnomics. From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
Whoa, those are some pretty confident statements from Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump also addressed, while he was at the New Jersey beach today, he also addressed international and domestic issues, criticizing Joe Biden's approach to the ongoing conflict in Gaza and his management of dissent on the college campuses, all these different riots and protests outbreaking, which he claimed was being overtaken by extremists. Trump's rhetoric was designed to energize the base, and it was reflected by the crowd's very lively responses. Matter of fact, the rally also highlighted Donald Trump's legal challenges as he's facing multiple felony charges. You got DA Alvin Bragg in New York with this hush money trial against Stormy Daniels. It's not really against Stormy Daniels, but she's in it. He's really fighting against the Manhattan justice system, the New York City justice system, Judge Juan Merchan. So that's the hush money trial in New York. Then you've got the Georgia election interference case against Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, and Judge Scott McAfee. Then further south, you go into Florida, you got Jack Smith, who just got his butt handed to him by Judge Eileen Cannon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, guys. And so, yeah. So despite all of these many different legal issues, the attendees, they were very supportive, with a lot of the folks in the crowd wearing the campaign gear and expressing belief in Donald Trump's potential to win New Jersey. New Jersey, mind you guys, New Jersey is a state that usually leans Democratic, but it actually showed a lot of support for Donald Trump in the past election. So 2024 is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting, guys. Y'all let me know. Just type in New Jersey in the comments, or just type in NJ if you think Donald Trump can actually pull off New Jersey for 2024. Keep in mind, New Jersey is a blue state. Now, this rally, it really hit on key points. Both Trump's ongoing influence in the, oh man, a lot of NJs, a lot of believers in here. Okay. Look, guys, look in the comments. Look in the comments. Oh my God. The rally really hit on some key points, both Donald Trump's ongoing influence in the Republican Party and the central themes of this campaign, strong criticisms, of the current administration and promises to restore his policies. So it's going to get real, and it's going to get real fast. Now, I want to ask you guys: have you ever attended any one of Donald Trump's rallies? Would you like to attend? Would you have liked to attend this rally in New Jersey on the beach? Kind of actually seems like a cool place to hold a rally. You know, a place where people like to be, sand in your toes, in between your toes, the beautiful coastline, the oceanic panoramic views. Meanwhile, you're cheering on someone who you believe in. Let me know if that sounds like something that you guys would have liked to attend. But anyway, so getting back to keeping the illegals out of our elections that Mike Johnson is proposing and demanding, really, and I think anyone who's a true patriot to America would also demand. You gotta stand up for what's right. You know, like you can't let other people who don't live here have a say in how we're governed. It just doesn't make any sense. Would you let some random stranger walk in your house unannounced, just open the door, just matter of fact, sneak in your house and then vote on what color you should paint your house? Keep in mind, this is a random stranger. Would you let a random stranger sneak in your house, vote on what color you should paint your walls, vote on new furniture or throwing away furniture? You see what I'm saying? This is basically what's happening. These are people who have entered the country illegally and are trying to tell you how to run your country and live your life. It doesn't make any sense. So getting back to keeping illegals out of our elections, which is Mike Johnson's his desire with this bill, with this new law he's trying to pass, it doesn't mean that there aren't any risks to non-citizens who try and vote under the current laws. In fact, voting in federal and state elections as an illegal, it puts them at risk of either jail or deportation. But it doesn't mean that they're not going to try anyway, because they understand like the chances of getting caught is like slim to none. And it's exactly why Democrats are pushing back on this idea, because they're saying that these people don't really have a right to vote here. Not in our country anyway. However, we can't really gloss over the fact that there are a handful of municipalities in California, Maryland, Vermont, and Washington, D.C. that right now they allow illegal immigrants to vote in their local elections, guys. And I'm telling you, if they let them vote in the local elections, this is only the precursor. This is only the beginning, and they will soon start demanding to allow illegals to vote in the presidential elections. This is one of the reasons. There are other reasons. This is one of the major reasons why the southern border has been intentionally left wide the hell open. Okay. And so this means that it's entirely plausible for them to vote here in our country. It's a real thing. In fact, it's not something that's unfounded, because that's what some news outlets are trying to insinuate, that Mike Johnson and these Republicans, they're running after problems that don't exist. This is what they're saying. That's not true. These are legitimate problems that are just being kept hush hush and kept under the they're trying to keep it under the rug. But just imagine, I mean, there were some very close elections, like Mike Johnson said. Just imagine, with millions of illegal immigrants who have been allowed to enter the country, how much of an impact it could have on our election. It could literally sway a win to the wrong side, is all I can say. Let me know if y'all know what I'm talking about. What's going on, Catalia? I see you in the comments. Jacob Bartlett, thank you so much, my friend, for the $10 super chat. God bless you, my friend. They call it an HOA. Oh yeah, that's another one. Man, but thank you so much, my friend. I totally appreciate that. And again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in here. I know it's gonna be Mother's Day in another 29 minutes Eastern time. So anyway, this is the situation we're facing here, guys. In fact, the issue here is that the problem, they're saying it doesn't exist just yet, but it kind of does, because it's not gonna. It generally doesn't happen overnight, but come November, it could happen overnight. Because think about how many millions of people came in over the last year. And then if you think about over the last 4 years since Biden has been in office, the very first thing you gotta ask yourself this question: why would the first thing that Joe Biden does when he comes into office is to immediately remove Donald Trump's border policy? That was like his number one objective. As soon as that's like, as soon as he took office on day one, that was the first thing on his little. That was the first thing on his little Post-it note, his little to-do list. Eliminate Donald Trump's border policies. And that's the first thing that Donald Trump wants to put back when he gets back in office. Rather interesting, huh? Now, numbers will show that only a small number of illegals have voted in federal elections. Although those are only the people that we're aware of, right? They're saying, oh, don't worry about it. It's only a small number of people. First of all, when you know a law is being broken and it's a federal law and you're saying don't worry about it, that should give you, like, that should make you wonder, like, why are you saying don't worry about this law being broken? That's the first thing, right? But here's the other thing. It would be incredibly difficult to even find people who have gone against the law under the current policies that we have because they're not checking any IDs. They're not validating that people are actually citizens. So who knows how many people are actually breaking this law? Who knows how many illegal immigrants are actually breaking the law and voting in our presidential elections right now? Because under the current policies, there's no way to know. So it's like, anyway, they're getting really desperate. They're trying to keep the system broken so that they can keep manipulating it to their advantage, period, point blank. Mountain Goddess, thank you so much for the $10 super chat today. Mountain Goddess says non-government organizations that are funded by taxpayers to process illegals and give them free representation and gives out information on voting. When we get here, look it up. Really interesting. Very, very interesting. Non-government organizations. All right. Yeah, we're going to look into this. Thank you so much for your comment. Thank you so much for the super chat this evening, Mountain Goddess. This is a big problem, folks. If you're an American citizen, if you consider yourself a patriot, you should be furious about this. Let me know if you guys are going to support Mike Johnson in his in this law, this bill he's going to pass, or he's trying to get passed to block illegal immigrants from voting in our presidential elections. Let me know if you guys are supporting that. So previous studies are showing that only a small number of undocumented immigrants have voted in our federal elections. Now, again, these numbers are supposedly so small that some experts believe that they wouldn't even have an impact on our elections. I would strongly beg to differ. And they are, however, forgetting about one huge issue. Illegal aliens have been a very, very big concern with this year's 2024 presidential elections. I mean, this was already realized. I mean, look at Greg Abbott in Texas. Like, you guys remember the 700,000, I think it was like God's Army, the trucker convoy that took place earlier this year, a couple of months ago, where all of these massive semi trucks drove down. It wasn't just the semi truckers. There were truckers boycotting New York City. I mean, like, folks are upset about what is happening with our country, and, like, you know, just like endless illegals just walking in and turning our country around to a country that you don't even recognize anymore. But this was realized by some analysts after having heard about an illegal immigrant influencer. Get this, guys. There was an illegal immigrant influencer who was arrested some time ago. In fact, it was just like probably several weeks back, if I remember correctly. The guy's name was like Lionel Moreno. So this dude, he became infamous for sharing ideas about squatter laws in our country right here in the United States, leveraging platforms like TikTok. This guy was on here, like, teaching illegal immigrants methods as to how they can secure housing in the United States, how they can steal your house, how they can steal your property here in the United States, and then use the United States stupid laws to protect them as squatters in your property that you continue to have to pay for. Unbelievable, right? Yeah. So he hasn't been very active after his arrest, and I believe he got deported. Although some of his comments on his posts are still very alarming. So his latest post, which is now like weeks old, it's calling for them to campaign for bed, right? Like BED. But here's the thing. We're not really sure if he's trying to say Biden, but that's like the closest person that they can campaign for with those letters. So again, English is not this guy's forte. I think he was trying to say Biden, so he's saying campaign for Biden. I'm telling you guys, this is alarming, because if it's true that we have not seen an explosion of illegal voting in recent years, well, what do you think is going to happen this year? Because we have to be realistic, because these individuals, they have a vested interest in who wins our 2024 presidential elections. Also, think about it this way. Just as easily as you got clowns like this guy coming on there teaching illegal immigrants how to basically get free housing, how to come into the country. Like, you remember, I shared a video with you guys showing how they were like TikTok and like video tutorials on how to get from China to the United States as an illegal immigrant, how to go from the parts of Africa to the United States, how to get from anywhere you are in the world to the United States. Like, there's tutorials on how to do it, right? Who's to say that there's not a tutorial on how to illegally vote in the US presidential elections for 2024? That would be very easy to make. And I'm not trying to, I'm just saying, like, if we don't do something about this, hell, it may already exist for all I know. I mean, I didn't know that there was some TikTok Venezuela guy on there teaching people how to steal homes and use the United States squatter laws to protect them. So, I'm just putting it out there, guys. Putting it out there. This illegal immigrant that I was talking about just a second ago, he's gone so far as to call Joe Biden as daddy. Oh my God. Is Joe Biden your daddy? Y'all let me know. Let me know if Joe Biden's your daddy. This guy called Joe Biden daddy. Well, you already know who he'd be voting for. So this means that they would likely support him because they believe that daddy let them into the country. See what I'm saying? So without the SAVE Act, there are still multiple loopholes that would allow illegal aliens to register to vote without proof of U.S. citizenship. And of course, we know that most voting ballots require some kind of proof of identity to register to vote. But one of those forms of identity is just a driver's license. Well, the catch is that not all of these proofs of IDs that they would use to validate your identity, they don't all require citizenship. So in other words, you can be an illegal citizen and still get a driver's license. And if all they're looking for is a driver's license, you can just be like, hey, here's my driver's license. I'm illegal. And then go, hey, right on and vote, right? So obviously this is a problem. So this means that these individuals could literally get access to an ID that would allow them to vote. This is what Mike Johnson and Donald Trump are trying to stop right now. We know for a fact that former President Donald Trump is aiming to remove millions of illegal immigrants from our country. This is something that these individuals are also aware of. So who do you think that they would vote for if they could? That's all I'm saying. So let me just see what you guys are saying in the comments. I know it's wild, guys. I know it's wild. But this is the America that we live in right now. Let me see what y'all saying. Okay, so GMA Trisha says here in California, they definitely giving them licenses. I went to get an ID card and they hustled me. They were going to give me a license. I said, you're giving me a license? What's going on, Guadalupe Rubino? They also have a non-driver's license. Interesting. And so with a non-driver's license, it's still an ID card. It's a state issued card. I guarantee most states would just take that and be like, sure, go ahead and vote. Caramel Coated Cutie says Ron for President 2028. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, Barbara Balatico says, "What stops them from giving out IDs?" Exactly. There's very little to stop these government agencies from giving out IDs. Hell, these state-run government agencies, they want everyone to have an ID, so it's very easy to get one. And then what you do with that, it's entirely up to you. So it's really, really kind of scary. So Anna Walker says, but me as a citizen, I have to show not only my birth certificate, but my marriage license and a utility bill to show that I am an American citizen to renew my driver's license. This is bullshit. So what state is that, Anna? I'd love to know what state that is, because that is that is a lot of identification to request, but at the same time, I mean, that's a good way to kind of make sure people are who they say they are at the same time. Christina Creasy says, not my daddy, not now or ever. Oh my God, that would be horrible. I would disown him, never ever. Well, guys, I just want to thank y'all so much for tuning in with me today. You guys are amazing. Big shout out to all my regulars, all my new people. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you like the content, you like the conversation. If you are about getting America back, support the channel. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for hitting the like button. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It really does help out. Thank you for sharing these videos on social media. Thank you for sharing the videos with your friends and family. And I'll see you on the next one. Oh, thank you so much, Catalia. Happy Mother's Day to you too. Totally appreciate you.